Okay, so I was chilling on the internet, looking for dumb stuff to watch, as I do, and I came across this video. Like, it was about indoor skydiving, where people were doing all these crazy flips, and then they would go in together and they'd be doing all these crazy tricks. And after seeing all of that, I was like, damn, I want to fly like a Super Saiyan. So for those of you who don't know, indoor skydiving is basically when you go into a tunnel, like a little wind tube, that pumps air from the bottom really fast, and like it allows you to float like an angel. That is, at least if you're like experienced or an instructor, because if you're an absolute noob and you went in there, you probably flop around like a fish for a bit before flying up because you lost control and then dive straight into a grade 3 concussion. But anyways, back to what I was saying. So after thoroughly grasping my attention by the nipples, my immediate reaction was to figure out how do I get into one of these things. So after doing a little bit of research on Google, I came across like a really popular indoor skydiving chain. It's called iFly, and I find out that there's actually one not that far away from me. And I'm like, damn, okay, that was pretty easy peasy. And then I click on book flight, and then like the first thing I see is this, and I'm like, bruh, like who in the faddy fudge Sunday is paying for this? Like $70. $70 and you get like 4 minutes total in the tube. And like when you go in, you don't even get to fly by yourself. You basically just float with your arms and legs out while the instructor holds you the whole time. And that's it. For that price, like, I don't know, that's trash, man. Because like, for that price, at least let me go in there by myself. And yeah, I will most likely shatter my cranium on the glass, but at least then it might be worth selling both my kidneys just to go in there. Especially for like 4 minutes. But even so, after giving it like, I don't know, like 0.3 nanoseconds of thought, it is that exact reason why it probably wouldn't be the best business plan, especially when you consider the extra workload you would be creating from allowing people to go in there alone with no experience. Because almost every single flight would be some dude going in there thinking, oh yeah, I got this, and now you gotta pay someone to drag corpses out of the wind tunnel between every single flight, which would take up hella time and money. And on top of that, you would probably need to have an ambulance on standby, like all the time, due to just the amount of bodies that are being produced from this place. You wouldn't even be able to call it iFly anymore. iFly, more like I died trying to do a flip and ate glass wall. Like, come on, you already know that so many people would try doing that trick where the guy goes all the way up to the top and then like he falls down, but right before he eats the ground, he stops himself. But when they try to do it, it would look more like this.
You go all the way up and you come head down position.
So yeah, definitely can't allow people to go in there by themselves. But if you were allowed to go in there by yourselves and it didn't have any restrictions or anything like that, and I didn't have to sell both my lungs to go in, here's a list of things that I would do if I was allowed to screw around on one of these things. Now, this list is going to be split into 2 categories. The first category is going to be the things I would do if I was able to go in solo, and then the second category is going to be things I would do if I was able to go in with another person. And in each of these respective categories, I'm going to rank the tricks based on how high of a chance I have of literally dying in that tube. So without further ado, let's just get right into it. So yeah, the first thing we're doing, pretty self-explanatory. We're just gonna try walking on the wall, or maybe doing some like Titanfall style like wall running. It's literally the simplest thing we can probably do, so we've gotta have like a 0% chance of dying, cause like I'm barely going anywhere. But yeah, overall, pretty lame, but you know, it is the first thing that we would try and do. The only way we really die is if like we somehow lose our footing and fly up and then eat glass wall on the way down. So yeah, slight step up in the chance of death, but it is still just like a simple roll in place, you know, nothing too flashy, just like doing a somersault on like a gym mat or something. But yeah, the only way I really die during this is if I like somehow lose control like after completing the somersault, and then like I end up flying up and then crashing down and ending my spine on the glass wall. As you can see, the second we start moving vertically, the mortality rate shoots up like a small amount. But anyways, the trick itself is pretty self-explanatory. All we're gonna do is hit a beast wall run going up and then hit a sick backflip into a sick wall run down the other side. And the death point in this trick is definitely at the top in the transition going from wall to wall, because if you're hitting the sick backflip right, there's going to be a point where you're literally like in a diving position, like you're diving into a pool, and because of, you know, aerodynamics, you're actually going to be falling in that position most likely, and if you lose control right there, you're probably going to game end yourself on one of the glass walls. If you don't know what this move is, it's basically the thing that the girl from Street Fighter does when she goes upside down and spins like a helicopter. And I shouldn't even need to explain why I would want to try and do this. I mean, like, come on. But yeah, much like the other tricks, it has the inherent risk of entering the afterlife early on one of the glass walls. But there's also a significant chance that, like, if you lose control of your speed while spinning and actually hit Mach 87, and if you have one of your legs hit a wall at a bad angle, it probably wouldn't feel very good because your kneecaps would literally get like Thanos snapped on contact. But yeah. Still gonna do it though. Next trick. We already talked about this trick already. There's no real need to like discuss any further. But yeah, I would definitely try it. And I would land it because I'm a beast. Now we're going to go into the stuff that I would do if I was able to go in with another person, and once again we're starting from like the lower mortality rate stuff and getting higher. I mean, yeah, this is super lame and easy, so there's like no real chance of death by blunt trauma, and if your time was really limited in one of these things, you probably wouldn't waste time doing this beta stuff, but yeah, we had to start somewhere. Anyways, next trick. This one is definitely simple on paper. Well, and in reality too, I guess. But the mortality rate is entirely dependent on the friend's ability to control their speed on the way down. Because if they absolutely mess it up and actually hit terminal velocity and you try to catch them at the bottom, you're probably going to walk out of that tube about 3 miles shorter than when you walked in, because you probably got compressed like a spring and you're probably dead. I'm gonna be honest, this is like the second thing I thought of doing if I was able to go into one of these things. And also, Rock Lee is the coolest character in Naruto. If you disagree, then you probably drink sparkling water and think that medium rare steak is gross because you're an actual loser. But needless to say, flying up there and then ending this man's life on the floor would be probably one of the latest things you ever do in your life. For those of you wondering, this was literally the first thing I thought about doing if I was able to go into one of these things with another person. Like, can you imagine hitting an actual like Marvel vs. Capcom air combo in like real life and then finishing it with the filthiest offstage spike in the world? Bro, that would be lit as hell. And well, with that, we're gonna end the video here. Thanks for watching, and remember y'all, make sure to like and subscribe, please. It helps out a lot. Make sure to follow the Twitch channel. Make sure to follow the Twitter. That's where I will let y'all know if I'm streaming that day. And make sure you follow the whatever other socials I put up at the end of the screen.